This is how to score on social media, as the title so says here. I have with me 5 amazing people, and like Kim Kardashian's and Damon John said, they are all very, very different. So I hope that you all can at least relate to one of these people up here today. They're going to be doing all the talking. I'm just here to moderate the conversation. If you don't know who I am, my name is Kayla Roofe. I'm your RE/MAX R4 HQ correspondent, if you were following us on Instagram. Can I get a quick head count if we have any RE/MAX socialites in the crowd? Can you all stand up? I want to give a shout out to all of the people that are in our group. These are some amazing individuals that are also a part of socialites, and these ones up here also. So if you guys ever have any questions about social media, these are the people that you need to connect with. I'm not going to do a big thing on me because that's not what this session's about. I'm not here from HQ to tell you how to do social media today. These people are the ones that you guys need to learn from. They have been doing it for several years, and hopefully most of you know who they are. I handle RE/MAX HQ social media, so at RE/MAX is me. If you have any engagement with us and I'm liking or following you, that's usually me, so I'm actually a real person. I know, it's not just a brand. Don't be mean. I like to say that my social media superpower is brand management, and again, I'm here to help you guys be the best agents, brokers on social media. So if you ever have any questions, you can find me. I have business cards up here too, so feel free to grab some. With that, I want to introduce our panelists. I told them they didn't have to sit in order, but they did so anyway. How great. They're already behaving.
And that's about as much behaving as we're going to do.
First up, Bree. She is part of the RE/MAX creative group. Do we have creative group people in here today? Yeah?
Woo! I love all of you.
Awesome. I heard that you guys just reached, what, 10,000 members?
Yeah.
So there's a big chunk in here.
There's a big chunk. In just over 2 years, so November was our 2nd year, and last year at R4 we had 4,000 members. So it grew that much in a year.
She's amazing. She's the mastermind behind that group. So thank you for all you do for the RE/MAX agents here.
Yeah.
Do you want to give a quick introduction on who you are and for people that don't know Bree?
People who don't know me, I'm Bree White. I'm with RE/MAX House of Real Estate based out in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So for all your South Florida needs, I got you. I am a dubbed elder millennial, so I'm a little bit wiser. No offense, Kayla, you're still super cool. And I've been with RE/MAX for 10 years. I started from the bottom and I worked my way to the top. I was a receptionist and did everything I could to learn more and more and more. And I love this brand, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, my superpower though is creative content for groups and bringing a community together. Like I love to give back. So if I can ever help, let me know.
And she's boldly authentic.
Yeah, on a good day.
Thank you, Bree. Take pictures of their social handles if you guys want to follow them later. I'm sure they'll tell you if you see them in the hallway, but this is your opportunity to follow them right now. Kristen, I think you're another creative group member as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Kristen has, as you can see, a lot of accolades with herself, and what I love about Kristen is her Bitmoji. You might really just know her as the Bitmoji on her shirt.
Like hello.
Kristen, when I first met you, your Bitmoji was exactly who you are, and you've said that a few times. So why don't you give us a little introduction on who you are?
I'm Kristen Long. I am in Champaign, Illinois. We're home of University of Illinois, and we've got many other big companies in our town at Research Park there. So if you ever have any referrals, send them my way. Shameless plug, it's fine. I have a background in graphic design and marketing, so this is kind of the world I've lived in for all of my life, really, starting in high school. And I love the RE/MAX family. I love sharing content, and I love the brand, and that's why we're all here, right?
I love the brand too. Can we get a shout out for the brand?
The brand.
Yeah? Okay. I mean, I am the brand, so.
Yeah,
There you go.
are.
The voice of Remax.
Yeah.
We are Remax. You are Remax.
All right, thank you, Kristen. Tony, the geeky agent himself. I got him to come all the way from Canada to be on my panel.
He's like an
Which I'm
OG
very
guy.
thankful for, because there's about 10 inches of snow falling where I come from right now. So.
I love my Canadian agents. Do we have Canadian agents in the room? He's my token Canadian agent. Obviously, Tony, you've been with us for a while, 7 years.
Finishing up 8 in October. Yeah.
Awesome. You might know him from his comics and his amazing storytelling he does as the geeky agent. And if you've seen any of his work, it's amazing. There's one on the Instagram stories right now, so you can go check that out. Tony, brief introduction?
Yeah, I'm Tony Iacoviello, which nobody can pronounce, so I branded myself as the geeky agent because that makes sense. I'm from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. It's halfway between Toronto and Niagara Falls. You'll probably best know it if you like geeky things like me. If you're watching Netflix right now, The Umbrella Academy is like one of their top shows. It was filmed in my hometown.
It's a good show.
Yeah, the opening scene where they're stopping a bank robbery and all that kind of stuff, that's the banquet hall that we have our Christmas party at every year. So that's us. Not this year, but last year's Oscar winner for Best Picture, The Shape of Water, was filmed primarily in Hamilton as well. Guillermo del Toro loves us. So we're a former steel town that's finding our identity in different ways. So we're halfway between there. We're a big logistics town, still an industrial town as well. I'll give you my philosophy of branding. I think personal branding has become my superpower, I guess. I think you got to know who you are, you got to know where you belong, and you got to know what you're fighting for. So some people will interpret that as your why. So I'll stand up if you want to look at the back of my shirt. I am the geeky agent. I belong at Remax, and I'm fighting for children. So I support Children's Miracle Network. So that's my brand. So anywhere that you see me, you'll see the Remax branding, you'll see the Geeky Agent, and you'll see Children's Miracle Network. I'm a champion agent for the Motorcycle for Miracles run that Bruce Johnson just completed.
Nice.
Have been since the beginning. So yeah, if you're not a Miracle Home agent, shame on you. You should be. It's the easiest way to give back to your community, so I think you should do that. And because I fight for them, I will mention it every single chance I get. So that's me in a nutshell. Follow me at the Geeky Agent everywhere.
Awesome. And plug on CMN and Bruce Johnson. That was the highest priced item at the auction, was the flag where all the agents signed it. So congrats to Bruce and that family, and then everyone that supports CMN. We really appreciate
$11,000
it.
for the flag, and they just they capped their donation just for this ride at $314,000 raised for CMN, over $600,000 total for the 3 rides that they've done. So it's just amazing.
All right, Brian. I kind of want to pick on you. I haven't seen you.
I'm pickable.
Brian is a bomb video influencer, all around number 5. So I got to know Brian through his videos. This is actually the first time I've met any of these people in person.
Right.
I walked up to all of them like, I know you. I see you on social all the time. I just want to hug you. And I did that too. I don't know if I scared you or not.
Nope, got my hug. I'm good.
Brian has been doing a lot of live video throughout his career. You interviewed Adam Contos a couple months ago on your live series. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and all the other great things you want to share.
Yeah, so my name is Brian Teyssier for branding purposes as well, since nobody can pronounce my last name. I'm Brian Sells Pittsburgh. If you Google that, it should come up on every platform. I too am a huge CMN donator. Was at the breakfast the other day. That's a big deal to my company and our business. So I've been in real estate 12 years with Remax 8 or 9, I do believe. And when I first started, I was a flipper. I was a house flipper. That's kind of how I got into real estate. I decided to start selling real estate. In my first couple of years, I think I sold 2 or 3 houses, all of which were my own flip. So fast forward, I joined Remax. Social media and video started becoming big. I was an early adopter. I learned from people like Pinky and Katie Lance and others like that. And I went from selling basically no houses to being 2018 #1 agent in Pittsburgh for Remax. So pretty excited about that. Yeah, pretty excited.
I got word that you guys are going to talk louder. I thought you'd have bigger voices.
Sorry.
People in the back need to hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Sue Pinky Benson, the one and only. She's not hard to miss. I don't even feel like I need to say anything more. How about you just give us a quick introduction?
Okay, so can you hear me in the back?
Raise your
Okay,
hand.
if you can hear me in the back, act like you can hear me.
There you go.
Yeah? Yeah, all right. So I'm Sue Pinky Benson. I come from Remax Realty team down in fabulous Southwest Florida, which is Naples, baby. If you've ever seen my video, that's what I'm known for, is Naples, baby. My kids still make fun of me and say nobody says that, but apparently I do. And other than that, I am a video enthusiast. I have done tons of Facebook Live videos, and that was where I got known for first, I believe. And then just doing different videos, but I learned from the fabulous Michael Thorne and Jesse Peters. They did the boot camp. And if you guys are serious about wanting to learn more about doing videos, if you can get to one of their boot camps, totally worth the time, money, and effort to go and do that. But I just love social media, and I love helping you guys learn how to do it the right way, not the wrong way. Like, you know, getting too influenced and then going on Facebook and posting something you shouldn't post. Nobody did that here this week? They're all like, oh God, she's talking to me.
I think I did that
Yep,
this morning.
so at any rate.
I heard you have a magic trick that you
Oh
want
wait,
to
do you have a magic trick? Do you guys want to play? Are we awake or are we hungover? Hello? All right. So if you have your cell phone with you and you have the app LinkedIn on your phone, I wanted you to take out your phone right now. All right? We're going to go to the LinkedIn app. Everybody know what the LinkedIn app looks like? It's blue. All right, everybody there? This works on Droids and Apple. I don't know about the one Google user in the room. All right? Now, you're going to go down to the bottom where the little people connection is. You're going to hit that button. And then you're going to scroll to the top, and it's going to say Find Nearby. You're going to push that button. It's probably going to ask you to activate your Bluetooth. If you want to play along, you got to do that. And it's going to start searching this room, and it's going to tell me that my husband Josh Benson's in here, Michelle Blackburn's in here, Alexander's in here, Brian T. Wolf is in here. I'm not connected to you guys. So I'm going to invite you to be connected to me on LinkedIn. Wow, look at that. How cool is that, guys? How next networking event you go to, the next happy hour where you want to connect. Now, don't get overly excited and think you're going to walk into the local Carrabba's and start scanning the room and connect with everybody. They have to be on this page to be able to do it, okay?
So many friends.
Look at all these people we get to play with now.
So now we're all connected.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you have questions at the end of the session, we are going to try to get to questions. My assistant, Lexi, she's also on the Remax social media team. She has a microphone, but these guys are talkers, so I'm not sure. Connect with them afterwards, and they'll answer all of the questions that you have on social media. But I want to kick it off. What we're basically going to do is have a conversation. This is a very casual conversation with them. They can talk to each other. They can talk to me. I have only 5 sets of questions, so we're going to see if we can get through all 5. So, you guys ready to get this started?
All good.
Okay. Are you guys ready to get this started? Okay.
Yeah, kind of.
So the first question is about algorithms, and maybe someone needs to explain what an algorithm is for some other people in the group. But my question is, how do you work with platform algorithms to make your content work for you and keep an engaged following? And what are some examples of how you distribute content? Is it based on analytics? Do you certain times of day based on certain types of content on different platforms? So whoever wants to kick it off, don't rush.
Does anybody not know what an algorithm is, or what we're talking about when we say like a Facebook algorithm or an Instagram algorithm? Anybody kind of yes, no? Basically, an algorithm is a computer program. So Facebook uses an algorithm to figure out what you like. So when you're on Facebook and you like something, or you comment on something, or you share a post, the Facebook algorithm, it doesn't really think, it's a computer program, but we like to talk about it that way, thinks that you like that. So what it's going to do is show you more of that, or more things like that, and show you less of things that you ignored. So the Facebook algorithm, if I want you to see what I'm posting, I have to pay attention to Pay attention to the things that you can see that get likes, that get engagement. So when I'm on a community page, like I've got a local community page for where I live in Binbrook, Ontario, when I put a piece of content out there, the Facebook algorithm doesn't show it to everybody. It shows it to about 100 people or so. And then if it gets a good reaction, so if there's a lot of people liking it, commenting on it, the Facebook algorithm figures out that, hey, that's a good piece of content that people might be interested in. I think I'm fading in and out. And we'll show it to even more people. And if more people like it and share it, engage with it, they'll show it to more people. If it sends it out to 100 people and nobody clicks on it, nobody likes it, nobody engages with it, the Facebook algorithm figures that's a pretty boring piece of content, nobody cares, and buries it. Which is why when you're creating a Facebook community page, you don't want 1 million likes. You don't want everybody to like your page just for the sake of liking it. You want people who are going to be engaged, people who care. Because if Facebook puts that out to about 100 people, that your mother and stuff like that who are just, sorry. So if Facebook puts that out to a bunch of people who you convince to like your page, or a bunch of real estate agents that you're just trading likes with, but they don't ever engage with your page, chances are everything that you put out there is going to be ignored. And it's going to get buried because the Facebook algorithm thinks that it's boring. But if you have a very tight community page, where like in Binbrook I have people only who live in Binbrook and who care about what's happening there, it's a very high probability that they're going to like it, engage with it, share it, whether it's a school closure for the day of snowing or a new business opening up or something like that. And then my page becomes more popular and people see what I post. So I'm not wasting time creating content that nobody's going to see. So when I leave here today, I do not expect to get 1,000 requests to like your personal business pages, because I'm going to say no, unfortunately. Thank you. And don't come and like my Homes in Binbrook page if you find it, because you don't live there and you shouldn't care what happens there. So I love y'all, but that's how the algorithm works, I think, in my opinion. But who else wants to?
I'll go. So my perspective is totally different on that, and that's the beautiful thing of this panel is my algorithm. I know my insights and my reach, my engagement, everything for my Facebook as well as my Instagram. My Instagram, I post anything at 12 and 3 p.m. I know for a fact it's going to reach something. Even if I post it at a different time, I'll still get hits and I'll still get a good reach and engagement, but it won't be as high. It doesn't matter the time of day for me either. Or I'm sorry, I just said that. It doesn't matter the day of the week for me. So it's pretty consistent, 12 and 3 p.m., Sunday through Saturday, I will reach someone somewhere. I did test out a new system thanks to Anna for my Facebook page, and my engagement is ridiculous right now. Like for me, from what I was getting on my Facebook page, I have anywhere between 20 to 50 likes on a single post, and it's actually reaching out to people. My algorithm for my personal page, I do a lot on my personal page. So here's the one thing that I highly recommend you all take notes right now and do this, because it's a really big pet peeve of mine. If you do not have in your personal about you portion of your Facebook page that you are a RE/MAX real estate agent,
right,
and it's public, why?
Right.
I Google stock. Do you Google stock? I'm sure you do. You Google stock a restaurant or something like that. I want to see that you're legit a professional. And it goes to also say add all of your social items there as well. And please, if you can, make them all the same. And I'll tell you why. Because for your SEO rankings, if you Google search right now my hashtag Breeze to Keys, it's like the first 3 pages of Google. And I've only been doing it for, I don't know, since the summer. So you want to have something that's catchy, you want it to be uniform, and that way the rankings will continue to go up and up and up and up. Because if anyone was in that amazing Google class this week, you want it to all coincide together. Yeah, that's what I have on it.
So, so I think I'm kind of the exception to all of it. I don't really pay attention to my analytics very often. I like to focus on the content and engaging with the people that I'm trying to reach, rather than how many likes did I get, where's this. I mean, it's human nature, so we do pay attention to it sometimes, and when I have a surge in likes, I get excited about it. But from day to day, I'm just really making sure that the content that I'm putting out there is completely authentic to who I am and what I'm doing, and responding to that. So that's kind of how I build my engagement, is by engaging with the people that have commented on my posts or left a question. And I do a lot of, I lost the word, but call to action, and trying to get people to respond to something with a question, or, you know, do you like a yellow door on your house, or are you more of a neutral color? Those kinds of things where it's not throwing my brand in your face all the time, but it is.
I think you guys all brought up good points. I mean, Tony, everybody gets hung up on likes and all that. And I don't think it's ever really been about likes. It's always about engagement. I have friends and coworkers and colleagues asking about likes and why don't you have this many likes? And it's never about that. And I will like your Facebook business page if you send it to me, just because I want you to like mine. So
He's nicer than I am.
Yeah.
right. And as far as Bree, I agree with her, consistency. So I'm on the East Coast. I like to post at 10 a.m. On Facebook, and I usually do it's the same post on all platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, if it's something like a just sold or a Zillow review or something like that. Now, if I run out of content that's specific to my listings or a transaction that closed, I will just do something generic to Pittsburgh, like the 12 best spots for kids that I'm going to copy from an online ad. I won't put that on. I won't garbage up my Instagram or anything like that. I'm basically bigger with Instagram stories. That's where a lot of my business seems to be coming from. And I also don't pay attention to any analytics at all.
You want me to say something about algos?
Yeah, I mean, you've commented on almost every single post. You beat me to it as Remax, so I want to know. Tell these people.
What I think about algorithms, or about engaging?
Engaging.
Okay. How many of you actually went on Instagram this week, posted a picture, and put up the hashtag RemaxR4? Raise your hand. How many of you got a comment or like from me on one of those posts? Yeah, put those hands up, because I worked really hard on that. All right. I followed the hashtag RemaxR4. And every day, 2-3 times a day, I went in and I made sure that I followed you. I liked your comment. I made a comment. And I tried to engage with you. You can do that with Instagram by following your cities, hashtag Naples, Florida. You go in, you take 5 to 10 minutes at the beginning of the day, the end of the day, and you go in and you authentically engage with those. And you don't have to follow every single one of them, and you don't say, hey, you're in Naples, you want to buy a house while you're here? No, you go in and you say, wow, that's a great picture. I do love the pier. What else did you like about my city? Right? You're engaging with them. You're building relationships. Instagram makes it super easy to be able to do that and to build relationships with people that you didn't know. The other thing is, do not post and ghost, okay? Yeah. So a lot of you, I commented on your post and never heard anything back from you, like, oh, thanks, or a heart, or anything. You want to make sure that you're posting, and that when you go back and people have commented, you're commenting back, because that's going to also help the algorithm. That algorithm that's such a mystery and we all want to figure it out. It's all about engagement and making sure that you're putting out content that's well received, and that you're also going in and commenting on other people's information and comments that they put out there. I see that a lot on business pages. They put up a post, everybody goes in, says, oh, that's fabulous, and you don't go back to it for a month. Make sure you engage.
Is it okay to just like it?
You can like it.
Yeah, awesome.
And I think to tag on to what Sue is saying, don't have a bot do it for you, because that is the least possible way to engage with somebody. It has to be you. If you're gonna put content out there and it doesn't come from you, the minute you meet somebody that you're trying to reach, they're gonna read right through you and know that you don't know who they are, and you're trying to make them feel like they are your best friend before you even meet them.
I agree.
So don't hire a bot to do anything for you. Sorry.
So so for that I have one disagreement. Only because how many of you know who Ricky Carruth is in this room? Right? How many of you have sent him a DM on Instagram? Anyone? Right. He has an automatic bot that says, hi, how are you? If there's anything I can do for you, how can I be of service? It makes you feel warm and fuzzy. And I had dinner with him the other night, and he told me he has 3 different variations of that. And I gotta tell you, it's a great way to set up engagement with someone who is direct messaging you, because a lot of times it'll go to filters, and then you have to go into your requested messages to then decide if you're going to engage. So I think if you're going to do a bot, you should do an introduction bot and have it not the same, have a couple short to the point, not really salesy or cheesy, but like if there's anything I can do for you, let me know.
That helps your Facebook too. If
Yeah.
somebody reaches out to you on Facebook, it helps your response rate on your business page, and you can flat out say, hey, I check my messages at this time and this time, and I'm going to get back to you, as soon as I can.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the common thread, I think, basically is what you're saying is engagement. And what Bree mentioned before, too, is making sure people know that you work for RE/MAX without necessarily hitting them over the head with it. Sue touched on that as well. It's like everybody who's on my Facebook page knows I work at RE/MAX. I don't have to tell them. There's a million pictures of me being here at R4 this week or at other conventions or with my kids putting up a sold sign, and I'm not necessarily yelling at them like, hey, if you know anybody that needs to sell a house or anything. They kind of know because what I'm doing is talking about real estate. I do video a lot too, so I'll do community updates. I've actually interviewed other RE/MAX agents who have like an interesting story, that kind of thing, other real estate agents in general. But they already kind of, if you set it up that way, they already know where you're from, and then the rest of it kind of flows from there without necessarily having to like just flash the RE/MAX balloon at them a million times, right? They just know where you are. But you want to make sure, like you mentioned, where you're from. I'm from Hamilton, I work for RE/MAX. Kind of bring it up, but not as a club.
I flash the balloon all the time.
That's a great opening question.
Did we cover the rest of them with that?
Yeah, I mean, we might have gone through all the slides, but I
So
think
everybody
that's the point of
understands
it,
algorithms
right?
now, right?
Thank you guys for sharing. And that's, again, why we have such different people on this panel. Everyone has their own opinion or their own thing that works for them. And it's awesome that you guys disagree. That's your brand. So thank you for sharing. Well, we'll go into the next set. Advertising on social media. Do you do it? What platforms do you use for advertising? How do you do it? And how do you make sure your specific ads are staying relevant to your audiences?
I'll start with that if anyone. So I've started to advertise on Instagram just out of curiosity, just simple, pure curiosity to see what works, what doesn't work. I can tell you, so far in my experience, it is a little bit pricey, but I got a couple clients off of it. Now, mind you, they may not turn out to anything, and they are renters, which is okay, because in South Florida, everyone eventually wants to own a home, like everyone else in America. But it's the fact that now I'm getting engagement. I've had title companies reach out to me. I've had direct hits into my website based off of the certain ads I ran on there. So that's pretty good. On Facebook, I'm not as much into advertising. I've played around a little bit with it, but I don't have to on Facebook because I do so much on my personal page with who I am that everybody automatically knows I'm with RE/MAX. I have old high school friends now reaching out to me like, hey, I have to sell something. So I cover a wide area because of who I work with. And I have a lot of RE/MAX friends on there. And just because we're building this Facebook bond, there's no point into spending money. If I can advertise for free, I'm gonna do that. And that's my ultimate goal. I will say, I don't know about anyone else on the panel, but I am a Snapchat girl because I am investing in my son's generation for business, because one day they will own a house or have to rent or something. And that is, there's no real way to advertise on there for what I do. It's just building bonds, and I think it's worth it. It is a quirky platform because it is super young right now, and it's not for everyone, but there's potential there. That's what I do.
I'll go ahead. I do a significant amount of Facebook advertising. The sort of light bulb moment for me was about 4.5, 5 years ago. I was working with a partner at the time, and we put out a glossy 4-page newsletter in a farm area. So we did about 5,000 a month for 6 to 8 months, I believe. We had local advertisers, and we had a few things going on, and everyone in the universe told me it was the nicest newsletter they've ever seen. Great call to action and all that sort of stuff. In the 6 months that we ran those 5,000 a month issues, we had 0 phone calls, 0 emails, like nothing. And eventually it probably would work, but we were spending a significant amount of money doing that. It probably cost us about $800 each a month. So we dissolved that at one point and said this isn't working. The very next week, I set up a Facebook ad just to basic, hey, what's your house worth in my local farm, the same farm community. Spent about $100 in 2 weeks worth of exposure, which back then was a lot because it was cheaper. And I received 13 requests for CMA within the first week. So at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing newsletters anymore. So since then, I've done a lot. I outsourced to a digital marketing company. I mean, that's what they do, so they know how to set up the ads and do that sort of thing. There's a number of them out there. I use justsellhomes.com. They'll set up a listing ad, and it'll go out for about a week or so. It costs me about $150, and I'll get anywhere from 30 to 40 leads per listing ad. But that's kind of what I do my spend money on. But as Bree said, I do a lot on my personal page, and so I do a lot of these interviewing other realtors and stuff. I've become fairly well known in the RE/MAX community through R4 and through doing that sort of thing. So in the last 4 to 5 years, my business has transitioned so that I'm right now running about 60% realtor referrals is my business. And so everybody just happens to know me. So I'm staying top of mind with my RE/MAX colleagues basically across Canada. They're the ones that usually tune in to my Facebook Lives that I do on Wednesdays and Fridays. I'm doing market updates, I'm doing interviews, I'm talking about general Canadian mortgage rules and that sort of thing that are relevant to us, and fun stuff too. But it keeps me top of mind with them, and that's free. That's just my time I'm spending to do the Facebook ad. But then, and also because I live where I live, it happens to be a destination for people now. Like I said, I started off, when I first started my business, I was probably around 10-15% referrals. Once I started doing the Facebook Lives and doing more networking events like this, in addition to that, again, the last 2 years, I've averaged about 60 to 65% of my total business as referrals, and about 80 to 85% of that are specifically realtor referrals. So that's sort of the power to reach out. One is a paid avenue, and the other one is just taking advantage of the platform in a free way.
Let me, how many of you have done Facebook ads? Can you hear me? Yeah? How many of you have gone into the backside, and I'm not talking about the boost, and actually doing a Facebook ad? Do you know what I'm talking about? How many of you are overwhelmed? How many of you are overwhelmed when you get to that and it asks you and you're like, holy crap, I don't know what I'm doing here? Yes. And then you run the ad, and how many of you actually get a lead? Yeah, it's rare though, right? You're like, oh, well, that's good. I'm glad it works for you, sir. But it's because you have to learn how to maximize using Facebook ads on the backside. You really need to go Google that shit and look it up, okay? But honestly, like Josh and I just had a new listing in Naples. You can take an ad and run it just around a neighborhood. Okay, so you get a new listing, you run the ad just around within 1 mile of that property, and you say, hey neighbors, look at this new property that just came on the market, right? You spend about, I think, what did we spend? Like $7 a day, something like that, for a week, just to go around that little tiny area. And we got buyers that wanted to see that property. So you have to be really specific sometimes about doing the ads. When you do a big blanket ad that just goes to the entire world, it's not gonna get anywhere. You also have to be a little more creative with not making it look like an ad. I know that's a challenge for us because we just wanna punch them in the face and say, hey, come buy this house. But you have to be a little bit more creative about it and show them things that maybe they wouldn't see on Zillow. Right? It's okay. You can talk about the gorilla in the room. Look for things that you could showcase in that property in your ad that might pull them in a little bit further. But that's how you're going to get your maximized exposure, is learning how to do the backside, not just boosted posts.
I can add to that a little bit. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so just to piggyback on what Pinky's saying, I go on the back end as well. And there's a couple different things you can do. So I'll do listing ads, but I know where the buyers are coming from. So from Hamilton, I know there's a city called Brampton and there's Mississauga where the majority of buyers are coming from. So that's the area that I target. So I drop a pin there, like a map pin, do like a, whatever it is, either that city or a 3-mile radius or whatever I want to do. And so I'll show my listing video or whatever it is with a link back to the listing page. And then I'll go back and show my sellers, this is what I'm doing to promote your property. I've had 10,000 views in a week of your video, which also gives me the leverage to say, nobody's booking an appointment. So it looks fantastic. I'm getting people to see it. Maybe we have to adjust the price. The other end of it is an event like this. Some of you have probably seen my ad running here, because whenever I go to an event like this, I drop a pin on the MGM or I drop a pin where I am, and I'm talking to you now, and I want to make friends with you. So if you're on Facebook and you're at the MGM, there's a good chance in the last few days you might have seen me up there, and you might have seen my business page up there,
I got
because
that.
now I'm networking with you guys, right? So there's those opportunities as well. It's basically whatever you want to use it for. So if I'm going to any kind of real estate event or a networking event or anything like that, I drop a pin where I'm going, I'll spend $20, $50, whatever it is you want to spend. And you can target people, because I didn't want everybody at the MGM to see it. I just wanted people who were interested in RE/MAX.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When it comes to targeting too, make sure that if you're doing something that's just promoting you as a real estate agent, exclude other real estate agents from your ad. Like, how many of you been on Facebook and then you see like, oh, there's Joe Blow's ad. Like, it's a waste of money for it to go into that. So exclude them.
Yeah.
Be specific about who your audience is.
Yeah, and those are little tweaks you can do. The other thing, like I said, if you don't have the time to figure it out, I outsource a lot. Like I said, I do a lot of video, to the live videos I do, but listing videos, I never shot a listing video in my life. I don't have 8 hours in a day to make it look nice. I might re-edit it and change the music if I don't like it, but I hire a company to do my photos, my video, my 3D tours, a lot of the promotional stuff. I just don't have time. And if you watch agents that do video versus the ones that outsource, usually the ones that outsource, you'll see a greater growth in their productivity, because they're just focused on that. The ones that do it themselves, they actually have a passion for it. So that's just more of what they want to do, which is fantastic. But the ones that kind of figure out how to outsource and make use of other resources, you'll see their business grow over time faster than those that don't.
Can I interject for a minute?
Absolutely.
Because I've heard a lot of people in the room this week as I'm just walking by, how do I do video when I'm too busy selling homes? How do I have time to do social media when I'm trying to get people to buy homes? And I'm sure you guys get that question a lot. And I've heard a couple outsourcing, and a lot of your personal branding is done yourself. Can you guys touch on that same question? And I know a lot of people had that same question.
So here's where I feel like I'm the exception again. It's fine. I've been in real estate 5 years in June. My first full year in real estate on my own was last year. I gave myself a budget of $2,000 to spend in the entire 12 months on marketing, and I didn't even reach $2,000. So I spent virtually $0 on marketing. 25% of my business came from my Instagram or Facebook, and I was 100% club reacher my first full year by myself. So, thanks. And I don't hire anything out. I mean, I was kind of given a gift of having an eye to do design things. So I can crank out 20 ads in an hour and just kind of know when I'm gonna post those things. But that's the beauty of being here, is if you're intimidated by what they're saying, because quite honestly, I'm intimidated by what they're saying, but we all kind of do the same things and have successful careers doing completely different things, and you don't have to spend $2,000 a month. You don't have to spend $2,000 a year, and you can still be successful. To touch on the time thing, I time block my schedule, and I set aside a time 3 days a week to crank out ads. I have the attention span of a gnat, so I'm also creating things on the fly quite frequently. And that's just, if you just make the time to do it, you do it. If I am going to stick a sign in a yard, I've maybe done this twice, so it's fine, but I'll just flip on my video and just say, hey, I'm here at this house, I'm gonna walk you through it real quick. You're already there. It takes you less than 10 minutes, and I think the biggest thing that I've learned this week is just do it. I mean, we can make excuses all day long that we don't have time, and we don't have time, and we don't have time, and I can say that because I do it, but following these guys and learning this week, I've just learned, suck it up. There's an excuse for everything, but stop making excuses for it. See what works for you, time block your schedule, and just go do it.
So I have something, and it's a little off topic, but not quite off topic for social, sorry, but I got a point, I promise. My husband is an engineer, and he is super analytical. And I know there's people in this room that aren't as creative and are like, but I'm more of a left type brain versus a right type, and that's okay. So if you are someone who is intimidated by social, I mean, there's always the creative group 1 to grab, steal, and go. It's not really stealing because we put it out there for everyone. But what he offered to me that has helped propelled my business, and now it's time for me to really understand what's going on, is Google Ads. I don't know if anyone uses Real Geeks or a comparable system, but he has my price per click down to 84 cents per click, which is crazy. You can advertise that way in order to maximize and get exposure out there. And I gotta tell you, you can add your creative content or your listing stuff by claiming your page on Google, and that's still being social. So it's a way for people to Google who you are, because before they go on your social, they're gonna Google your name, right? It's gonna show up all of your social feeds. If you've set it up correctly, it's gonna show your location of that, yes, you are a real estate agent, and underneath it, start taking stuff from your listings or start taking stuff from whatever it is you put on Instagram or Facebook and et cetera, and add it to that. And then if you're intimidated by Facebook ads, I honestly feel like the back end of Google is a little bit easier to work. And like visually for me, because I'm more of a creative person, it's just prettier, and I can handle that. So that's, yeah.
We only got 20 minutes left.
I'm sorry, guys.
Can I just jump in real quick on the, I really don't run, they all run ads. I don't run any ads at all. I'm of the mindset where I don't want to chase business. I want business to chase me. So my videos I try to make super flashy. So if you find me on Instagram and Facebook, I try to have sometimes I have the clients in there so they're playing with their children. And I have a company that'll come out and professionally record the video with cuts and music. It's only $550, but that propels you to your next listing. So I will get that video. We make sure it's under a minute. It goes on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook Business, shared to Facebook Personal. I will boost it. I know I'm not going to sell the listing from the boost. I really don't care. I just want to get the view count up a little bit. I screenshot that at the end. I send that off to the seller. I put that, whenever I close that listing, I put all the stats with that video again on all of my social media, and I constantly have sellers and buyers reaching out to me just because I'm showing them that I'm successful, how days on market, what it listed for, what it sold for, how many showings, how many people came to the open house, all that stats goes on my post. So, and I will pay to boost that for a small amount of money, and then I just have people reaching out to me, asking me to list their houses or will represent them as a buyer. That's how I want my business. I don't want to chase anybody. I want them to chase me, and I spend a lot less money doing it that way, and I don't have a lot of time either. I'd rather be shooting videos, Instagram Live, Instagram TV, Instagram stories than pissing around with algorithms and freaking pie charts and all that other shit. I'm not gonna mess around with that.
That's ours.
That's awesome. All right. So this next question could be our closing question because it's pretty general. How do you think social media has changed in the last year? Not 10 years, just 1 year. We all know that it's ever growing, ever evolving. Do you see an increase of a community feel? Is it brand? Is it advertising? And what are your recommendations to other agents about how to participate in groups and other online communities to grow business?
I'll take that one first if that's okay. So just because this is my thing, I got this. If you need a group, I got you. So I'm a Facebook Power admin, and the very cool part of being that is I get to see everything else before you guys do. And then I get to tell you about it, and I don't know if I'm supposed to or not, but I don't care, I'm gonna do it anyways. So Facebook is putting a huge emphasis on community, like huge. If you don't have a community Facebook group, if you don't have a Mommy and Me group where you're the only realtor, because I know someone who does that and she's super successful with it, if you don't have like a meetup group or something, create one. Even if it's like a business to business networking group. Find what's going on in your particular area and do that. Like, first of all, join the groups that have them. Like, you can use a little search box, search for them, add yourself to the group, and then figure out how to make it better. So for that, I think that is huge, and where Facebook is going. It's just, it's changed drastically. You can even do it on pages. There's also subscriptions coming out as well. where you can have subscribed pages. I don't know if you've seen like people who have like 1 million followers or stuff now and things like that, but I would definitely find a way to have some type of meetup, some type of connecting probability where it's Thirsty Thursday and everyone meets at like, you know, the local bar or something like that, but just to have community. And you can also do it on Nextdoor. Facebook's not your thing. Most of us have nextdoor.com. That would be another great outlet too.
I think that video, you just go online?
Go ahead. Nope.
I think that video is drastically changing Facebook, and that's something that I think I've learned even more this week. And I honestly feel like if you don't start including video in your marketing and your advertising, that you're gonna get hidden by the algorithms and all these big scary internet beasts. And I think that the community pages are a huge tool, but Facebook, it's always gonna change. And all of the social networks, I mean, we could all jump on board with something tomorrow and then they're gonna decide, oh wait, we're gonna change it. So I think that finding something that works for you and just being consistent with what you're doing, if it works for you, keep going with it. If video's not your thing, but you're still reaching people, keep going with that. I don't know, I think that it's kind of I'm not on Facebook as much as I am on Instagram, but don't fear the ever-changing evolution of Facebook because we're never going to be able to keep up with it.
Yeah, well, we'll keep going on the line. I agree. I think it goes back to what we kind of touched on. We're all sort of community-based. Like we all have an identity in whatever community we serve. What Facebook is doing, and they've announced a while ago, is that they predict that about 80-90% of their news feed is going to be video-based at some point.
They're
Probably
saying by 2020, the entire platform will be video.
Fairly soon, yeah. So they're really harping on engagement. A little while ago, they got in trouble again about privacy concerns and a bunch of other things. So they're clamping down on the advertising side and your ability to target people. So advertising is actually becoming more difficult. What they really want for you to do, what we've been harping on for years, but becoming more important now, is building those communities online, whether they're a community of like-minded people like Remax Realtors, or if it's your local community like my Binbrook community that I serve, and creating engaging content for them. Essentially, if you don't know, Facebook owns Instagram, so that's one company. Alphabet owns Google and YouTube, so it's another whole company, and they both push video. Even on Google search results, if your website or whatever has a video on it or a YouTube video on it, you rank higher than pages that don't because Google owns YouTube. So there are the background things that happen, but ultimately what we're talking about is just being part of your community. Really like engaging people, knowing what's happening in your community, going to the city council meetings, going to your local representatives meetings, going to your local businesses and your soccer teams and your schools, and just knowing the people that, the things that we're supposed to be doing or we should be doing as realtors anyways. And the one thing I would suggest is don't be afraid to talk. Like, you are an authority in your neighborhood. You are Remax Realtors. You are the #1 brand in the world. That carries a lot of weight. Don't hide that. Yeah. I've heard in a few different sessions earlier this week, people are saying, well, other people are already doing videos about real estate. Other people are already talking about my community. Why would anybody want to listen to me? Well, if that's the case, there are other people selling homes in your community. Why would they ask you? Like, make the case for it. Talk about yourself, talk about your community, tell them what you do for them. They want to hear from you. That's just the bottom line.
Real quick, so Pinky has time. One thing I want to make sure you understand is I want to be on all platforms, because tying into your question is technology changes so quickly. You could be like LinkedIn, and then you change something, you're totally screwed. So it's important, and my coaches taught me this, is to have many legs of a table. So if one gets knocked out, your business, the table is still 100% chugging along. So you want to make sure you have Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Some people are on Pinterest and Snapchat, and that way if they change something, you're not scrambling to try to find business. Second thing I want to point out as something I'm doing new is I'm doing a community video where I will pay to have a professional videographer come out. We do a vlog anywhere between 2 minutes and 12 minutes. So I've only done 2 so far this year, where I will interview the business. Doesn't cost them anything. I give them the rights to use the video, and then we all put it on our social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. If you haven't caught on, I use all 3. And then I'll pay a little bit of money to post that. Anybody that likes it, I invite them to like my page, and then I have Lawrenceville Living is the one I'm doing. I invite them into a group where I am going to be the expert. Again, I want them to come to me. I don't want to chase their ass. I want them to come to me.
So, ooh, geez, now I'm working. Woohoo! All right, so first of all, Facebook, I think I've seen a lot of it. Negativity floating around on there, like everybody's seeing it. Everybody puts up that they checked in at the hospital. Personally, please don't check in at the hospital unless you're having a baby. All right, I don't want to know about your update, at the doctor's office unless it's really important. I see a lot of people doing that, and so I think Facebook has had a lot of negativity as of recent. So how you get over that is by being positive. Okay, put out the good news. Don't tell me that a buyer didn't show up and you're so pissed off. Okay? Don't want to see it, don't want to hear it. And you know what? You don't want your customers, your potential future customers, to see that either. So what's really great and what has changed is Instagram. Instagram is a very positive platform. You don't see people go take a picture in front of the hospital and be like, hey, checking in at the hospital, right? You don't see that on Instagram because you would feel like an idiot doing that, so you don't do that. The other glory of Instagram is the stories. Instagram stories. Brian and I use it. Bree uses it. Tony's on there. Kristen. It's an amazing platform that, these are people that honestly, because I know you're going, oh, but it disappears in 24 hours. What's going to happen to it? Okay. You know what? These are people that honestly want to engage with you. You're not just showing up in their timeline and you're like, oh my God, why am I seeing this guy again? I don't even like him, right? These are people that are going in and clicking on those bubbles and going, oh my gosh, I want to see what she's up to today. Oh, look at her crazy outfit today, right? Like, oh, her hair's really pink now, right? Like they go through it and you'll be so surprised because those DM messages you get are more authentic and real than any of the little crap that you might see in other places, right? They're going to be like, oh my gosh, I go to that restaurant. I love that restaurant. What do you get to eat there? And it's those little things that are going to build the relationship. So Instagram stories and Facebook stories are coming about. They're really good. They're really good. So take the chance to get in there. LinkedIn. Okay. I know a lot of you guys are like, oh my God, LinkedIn, really? Okay. When people Google you, your LinkedIn profile shows up. So if you don't have an up-to-date version on your LinkedIn of where you work, you might as well just say, hey, I'm done, I'm out, I'm not doing real estate anymore. Videos are doing phenomenally well on LinkedIn, okay? And here's the glory too of LinkedIn. They want you to give your advice. Okay, they want your professional opinion on there. Tell them what you do to get a listing sold on there. Not just, hey, I sold a property. Tell them something that you learned about that transaction when you were in that moment on LinkedIn, okay? That's where you're gonna get the gold, is showing, because you go on Facebook and you're like, yeah, I'm the best damn real estate agent that ever existed. Hashtag booyah. Like, come on guys, we're better than that. Show them your expertise in new ways. Give them the advice.
Sorry, we keep going at the same time. To add to what Pinky's saying, Daniel Wilson is in our creative group, and he kills it in marketing with Instagram stories and with the engaging and letting people know that you're there. Watch their stories. Just go through who you follow and watch those stories, and then those people are going to see that you watched their story, and they're gonna start following you and watching your story. So it's kind of the younger millennials, I think, live up in that Instagram story area, whereas the older millennials, like me, live more down in the squares, and I'm trying to get in the stories to reach everybody, so.
Yeah. The last thing I'll just add to that is that learn the language of the different platforms. They are a little bit different. The way that you can't necessarily just take something you put in one and transfer it directly to the other. Like Instagram loves hashtags. Facebook not so much, right? So that's kind of the difference. And it's not the end of the world if you did that, but it does make you look like you don't know what you're doing a little bit, right? YouTube is a whole other different thing. So if you go to my YouTube channel, I've got playlists. So organize everything in playlists. I've got a playlist like Brian was saying about community videos. My broker of record's amazing. Honest to God, I bet you he's the best broker in RE/MAX. And I'm not just saying that. Conrad Zerini at RE/MAX Escarpment. My guys back there, they'll tell you themselves, the best place I've ever worked in my entire life, bar none. He created over a dozen community videos for all his 600 agents to use. He paid for it, gave it to us for free, and it's on my YouTube channel, so I'll use it there. When I go to an open house and I got people from out of town coming in, they'll be like, I don't know any place around here, and they're kind of shy, they don't want to give me their contact info. First thing I say to them is like, well, I got a YouTube channel. I've got a playlist of community videos. If you want to go check it out for free and just let me know what you think. And then they're kind of coming in, they're already engaging me. So I'm using my digital social presence to help me with the personal connections as well. So all of my advertising, if I do print advertising, it all points back to the same social channels. You got that hub you can work around.
We're good?
I think we're good.
We're going for days.
5 minutes. Do we want to give one lucky person in the room a chance to ask one question?
Well, if they're fast, you might get two.
Yeah.
Five,
All right.
5 1-minute questions.
You get one person gets one question.
First hand up over there.
While Lexi's
Right over
walking
here.
over there, I just want to say, feel free. Honestly, I know like we just threw a fire hose full of information at you in many different ways. Feel free to reach out to any of us. We are all we feed off each other all the time, and I'm always asking Bree questions and vice versa. So feel free to reach out to any of us, and we'll help you out if you have specific
We
questions
were
that
just
we don't
talking
get
to
to.
Kayla before, and I said, I don't hide any of my marketing ideas or anything like that. I'm pretty open with all of that stuff. Agents that used to kind of hide it all, I used to tell them all the time, because if your marketing was any good, it wouldn't be a secret.
Right.
And I'd have seen it by now, and I'd copy it if I wanted to. So what's, just, I'm here to share.
Lexi would like the floor now.
Sorry.
I have no voice, so I have to use this.
I feel like I won something, so. I don't get a clap or anything, people. Thanks.
Pinky will help you later.
So I came 10 minutes late. I apologize if you've already answered this question. But I just want to know, why are you not talking at all about like Twitter or like, they all like go like this.
I use
Like,
Twitter to complain.
Yeah.
On Twitter too.
She complains.
I complain, but do a DM. Don't put it out there on your thing, but you can get like gift cards.
I'm not.
Forms. Like you say, like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, but what about like, are you using all of them?
I'll talk all day long, and I can talk and talk and talk, but I'm a very visual person, so Twitter is not the platform that I use, so I'm not going to put myself somewhere that I'm uncomfortable to reach people that's where they're comfortable. So if your main focus is Twitter and you like to read all day, it's probably not going to be a good fit for us, because I just want you to look at pretty pictures all day.
Yeah, Instagram and YouTube and all that's where it's at. Twitter is where it was.
Yeah.
You heard it here first,
In all
folks.
fairness,
Trademark
like,
that.
You know
Twitter's
what?
dead. Delete the app.
yeah.
Twitter's great if you want to like
Anybody from Twitter?
go after celebrities, like have combos with
I was about to
celebrities.
say,
You
yeah.
know, like that's always fun. I was chatting with Sugar Ray a while back, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, like
Does Mr. Pinky know about that?
Like my teenager uses Twitter to follow like YouTube gamers. Like that's pretty
Yeah.
much, and I use it to complain. And I'm telling you, it works.
It works.
But only DM them. Do not put it on your page.
Yeah. I use Twitter. I'm the geeky agent on all platforms, so I'm on Snapchat, Twitter. I'm on the PlayStation Network, so if you're running around shooting people, it's probably me or my kids.
On the
Twitch.
PlayStation
You want to do
Twitch.
Rainbow Six? I'm there as the geeky agent, man. We'll find you. So everywhere you go. So I do use it. It's one that I don't use as much. Sorry, gotta go. But yeah.
It is top of the hour, so if you have somewhere you need to go, I'm excusing people in the group, but
Yeah.
I know all these people are willing to stay for a couple minutes, and don't rush the stage. I'm a tiny person. I can't take any of you out. So thank you guys all for being
Thanks,
here.
everybody.
Thanks, guys.